Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. It's been kind of entertaining. We've been getting a lot of different texts with all different jokes and videos about
Yes.
COVID.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, everyone.
yeah, they're really very, very funny, and they keep us laughing. Although I don't get a chance to respond to all of them, we are enjoying them, and thank you.
Big time.
Thank you.
I just want to shout out, this is my present last year from Doug and Annie. It's a local place. Always like to promote New York beer. So.
Oh, that's nice, because we're talking about digestion,
Yeah.
eating good things today, so that's good. We got the Beer Project shirt on. Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that part. I didn't think that one through.
Well, I guess hops are.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's definitely medicinal
Hops are in
properties.
the I
Chinese
didn't know this.
pharmacopoeia.
Yeah, they're in the cannabis family. I didn't know that. One of the 19 properties of cannabis is hops that you drink in IPA beers all the time.
Now we're talking about beer and pot. This is a good start.
Okay, we're going to
This is a good
We're
start.
actually going to start about the stomach and digestion.
Yes. Let's get back to the topic. All right. So, of course, on the forefront of everything that's going on, and actually, this is where we should be. Anyways, we're thinking about our immune system and how do we keep our immune system strong. We're in a pandemic right now, but honestly, there's always some new little bugger coming up out there. There's always a flu season. You know, there's colds. There are all sorts of
Way before COVID-19.
yeah,
Way before.
all sorts of illnesses. But the beautiful thing is, our bodies are incredible machines, and if we treat them right, it's a lot easier and likely that you're going to stay darn healthy and happy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and the relationship between the immune system and our gut or our digestive tract. And some people might know this, but a lot of people don't realize that 70% of our immune system really resides or dwells in our gut. That is staggering.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's really amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And it's really interesting because our gut gets a workout during the day, our digestive tract. It's where we take things from outside of our body and put it in and have it assimilate to hopefully have wonderful nutrients that can be pulled out and become us and help us with our energy, our immune system, and we are what we eat, really.
And we said earlier in the week that in ancient China, whenever you were sick, regardless of what you were sick with, the first thing they ask you is, what are you eating?
Yeah.
Literally, the practitioners back in 2,000, 3,000 years ago, that's the first thing. What are you eating?
Right.
Because it has that big of an effect on our overall health.
Yeah. And, you know, I have on there for the comment for this episode, first and foremost, to protect your middle. And when we talk about the middle, we're talking about our digestive tract, the whole stomach. In Chinese medicine, we look at the spleen area as well. So we're going to dive into that from a little bit from the Chinese medicine side as well. We could go on and on about this topic for
forever,
years and years.
Not our 10 or 12 minutes we do. We could go for 10 or 12 hours.
Yep. So we're gonna bite off a little piece of it just to get you guys started and have you think about implementing something simple right away. All right, so...
Can I say something about the spleen and stomach?
Yes.
We talked about this earlier. So the Chinese say spleen and stomach, they kind of combine them together. It's the weight loss, weight gain organ. It's taxed by overthinking, which all of us are doing
and
worrying,
right now. Really
worrying,
taxed.
overthinking.
Yeah,
yep.
has a
That's
big
one thing.
effect.
The thing to remember that we feel is important, that we tell our patients all the time, imagine that the spleen is a 100-degree soup pot, and it never likes to be cooler than 100 degrees. That said, I'm not saying drink warm beer, and you can always tell first-year acupuncture student because they said, I'll take a water with no ice, because the Chinese don't use ice for like nothing. They don't use ice. They actually use warm tea in the summer to make them sweat, to cool them off. So Laura's going to go into more the functional aspect of what the foods do, and we're not embracing or criticizing any particular diet. We're not saying become a vegetarian or a meatitarian but it's a processing. The spleen and stomach's job is to process all those things. So I'll hand it over to Laura.
So if you think of that stomach as your 100-degree boiling soup pot, that middle burner spleen stomach aspect, then you want to just make sure you nurture that, because there's a lot of raw and cold food eaten in our culture, in the Western culture. And if you've noticed in the Chinese culture, many of you have probably gone out for Chinese food, and maybe you're even ordering it in right now during this this time period of takeout and delivery.
And China's called the Middle Kingdom. Laura referenced a little while ago about the middle.
Yeah, so when you think about Chinese food and what you order, very rarely do you see raw foods and cold foods.
Like never.
Yeah, it's very unusual. So there are a couple reasons for that. One is to enhance the digestion. One of the things I think that also happened historically in China was that by cooking the foods, it also got rid of some of the bacteria that might be hanging out there, some of the little bad buggers. The cooking helped out with getting rid of that. So that might have been a piece of it as well. But if you think about your body, most people are about 98.6 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
in our medicine, anything that you put into the body, your body's going to use its chi, or the life force, the body's energy, to try to warm it up to that temperature.
Yep.
Ideally, when you're eating something, you want your chi to be going to getting the nutrients out of it that you can utilize in your body for your immune system, for your growth, your healing, so that you are actually feeling fantastic. So by eating something, drinking something that's warmer, you're making it a little bit easier for your body, or actually a lot easier for your body to actually extract what it needs and get what it needs from the food.
Can I add just one thing?
Yeah.
That it could be room temperature or warmer. So like when we make salads, the Chinese look at salads as barbarian, like you're eating raw food. I mean, in the old days. So
That's right.
when we make salads, Laura, whoever makes it in our dinner, we'll take the greens out first, make the salad, set it aside so it's at room temperature when we eat it,
dinner.
not cold coming right out of the refrigerator.
And I oftentimes, if you're doing something like a salad, because we love a good salad, you can just make sure you're also serving it with some warming foods, maybe a cooked dish or a soup, that type of thing. So the other piece of that is, because we get this question all the time with salads and also with smoothies and juicing.
Right.
Especially during this season when it's colder out, try to add a warming component to those type of cold dishes. So our salad dressing, I typically make our salad dressing 99% of the time. And it's usually some type of oil, vinegar, chopped fresh garlic, which is warming.
Right.
And then some different spices. And the spices you could use in there and herbs you could use in there could be warming herbs and spices. So there could be ginger in there. I even do this a dressing with a hot chili oil in there.
It's amazing.
That's a little bit spicy, and it goes great on like kale, because kale is so hearty. It just has this wonderful blend with it. So adding something a little bit warmer is also going to be helpful if you're eating something raw and cold. And if you think about what happens, I love to talk about this scenario. People go out, they drive through, they get fast food, and they eat that greasy burger and greasy fries, and then they chug down an ice cold Coke. And I just think about what is going on there, right? That ice cold Coke following all that fatty, yucky stuff. Ew, it just sounds like a damp, congealed mess in the body. So that's definitely not an ideal scenario. So in this time, especially if you're feeling like something is coming on, or you're feeling like, maybe someone already has something in your house, doing something like a soup or a stew is ideal. And that is something that can be done even when you're healthy and you feel like you want to give your digestion a little bit of a break. Because in Chinese medicine, we call soups and stews already partially digested, because during that process of longer cooking, it's breaking the food down, making it easier for your body to digest it. So that's why it feels so nourishing to have those soups and stews.
I will beg her to do her kanji. One of these mornings we're going to do her kanji. It's rescued me so many times.
Yeah.
It's like the Chinese porridge, but I'm sorry, that's very nurturing. So
look at Pat, yoga and listening to us at the same time. Woo, Pat! Woo, woo. She's getting a few of her columns done.
Right.
For her Balanced Wellness Weekly Plan. All right, so yes. So here's the deal. I keep on talking about we're going to be in the kitchen. We are going to be in the kitchen at some point. We need to get up and make sure the kitchen looks like we should be in the kitchen, because we have two teenagers. Actually, no, one's a 20-year-old now. Two college students home with us, which has been the silver lining blessing of all this. So fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm convinced they're vampires because they're up so late at night, and then
So not awake right
yeah,
now.
yeah. Actually, I heard one getting up for class, which is at the kitchen table. And what happens when you stay up late at night? They have to have some kind of meal. So then we wake up, and the kitchen looks like it's been dined in, and we have no idea what happened.
And it was clean when we went to bed, let's put it that way. Yeah. I think every parent with everyone home right now probably has the same refrain we do.
They are.
So, yeah.
They're lovely, lovely vampires. So
And one thing to add to what Laura said earlier, how nutrition and gut health can really help the immune system, and serotonin also. 90% of the serotonin, which counters anxiety and depression, are also produced in the gut. So you can see how important the gut is. I asked Laura before we were starting this morning, we should talk about eating in the seasons. I'm not going to go into that right now. We're transitioning into spring. In California, they're in spring already, or Georgia or something. We're not quite weather-wise into spring. We still have cold weather. So like Laura said earlier, it's important to have those warming type things, ginger or something. If you do a smoothie, do an apple, ginger, carrot or something like that. There's we could do hours on eating at the season. So.
Actually, pears are good for the lungs.
Apples are good for the lungs.
Ooh,
Apples are
yay.
good for the lungs, yeah. You go backstage of any opera company, you'll see half-eaten Granny Smith apples everywhere. Not just Granny Smith, but apples. So.
Okay, now we digress.
Yes,
We're talking
always.
about opera singers and half-eaten apples. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back. Have a great day.
Maybe from the kitchen tomorrow, you never know.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, all right.
All right, bye.
Bye, everyone.